Hey everyone, it's Karissa from Shining Light on Minnesota. I'm super excited. I have some fun guests here with me today, Kelly Williamson and Lisa Bailey. Welcome,
Good
ladies.
morning, everyone.
Yes. So let's start off and tell everybody a little bit about your history and kind of what got you to where you're at today. Let's start with you, Lisa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happy to. So I was thinking about this as we were going into today, and I thought, it really started when I was in my 20s, when I was in college. I thought about I was going into my major as a math major. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to flunk out. And then I transitioned and saw that marketing was an area that maybe I should look at.
Yeah.
And from that point on, I've just loved it ever since. And what's been great is marketing is not just advertising and things like that. It has a lot of data and numbers associated with it. So my love of numbers and the fact that I love to work with consumers and how to market to consumers has just been a sweet spot for me. And so I've just loved it. And my career has been such a pleasure for myself, and I've worked with really great brands. So it is just something that started way back then. That I knew that this is something I wanted to do based on a transition that people do all the time with their majors in college.
And marketing has evolved a lot since then,
Oh,
too.
it's completely different. Yes, completely different.
What about you, Kelly?
Yeah, I'm raising a daughter like this too, but I knew right away. Like, I knew when I was in high school, I had my path, set out. I used to ride to school with my mom. She was a nurse at the Mayo Clinic. But our school was about a block and a half away from the clinic.
And I knew you back then, so
yeah.
yes.
So I used to ride in with her, and then I would walk over to school. And as soon as I entered the hospital, I knew that was not for me. I just knew I couldn't do that kind of work. But my dad had more the business side, and I always just felt more compelled there. So when I got into school, I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I knew I was going to do something in the business arena. Yeah. And then actually my degree is in marketing. And I probably, it's funny, I've picked it up in different, jobs along the way, but I would say I've done more in a general business sense than I have it specifically in marketing.
Yes.
But I knew right away, and I don't know. I just felt like I just knew. When my dad would talk about stuff, I just knew that's what I wanted to do. It drove
you to where you're at. Yeah. It was something that intrigued you.
Yeah.
How do you ladies feel when everybody says, hey, I'm a marketer, even though they're not? Everybody that picks up their phone, they're like, hey, I can market. I'm a marketer because I can do social media, right?
Yeah. It's so common. It's common in business for sure. Everybody in the organization thinks they're a marketer.
Yeah.
And I think because we're all consumers.
Yeah. Yes.
And so because we are we know what we all individually want, what messages resonate with us, we all think, oh, then I can market for this company or this organization. It is something that we deal with. Right. It is something that, you have to come to appreciate a little bit too, because everybody is a consumer. Yes. And so for us, both Kelly and I were at Sleep Number for many years, and that brand in particular, everybody sleeps.
Right.
Everybody knows what's going to resonate, why they have trouble sleeping or what their sleep issues were. So we take that all with a grain of salt, but just understand that we need to understand and listen because they are consumers.
Yes. And fast forward to today, you guys were looking for jobs, looking for positions. How difficult was that this day and age, being that we're older and you have the experience, you have the mentality, you're well established, you knew where you're at, and you don't want to go back to, hey, I don't want to go back to a temp agency. I don't want to look for recruiting. You're well established. You don't want to go back to networking either. How do you promote yourself?
Yeah. Well, you do.
I know.
You kind of have to.
Right, yeah.
So, for Lisa and I both, we had been in organizations where we had operated at an executive level for many years, high performing. Mm-hmm. And so for me, at least, I was a little surprised when I got laid off. That was really hard. I couldn't say the word unemployment or I got laid off. Yep. That was something I had to learn to say out loud. Yep. But, fast forward here, it's almost been a year. This is the pivot I didn't know I needed in my life. Mm-hmm. And so I am forever grateful for this transition period, but it was not an easy road and it was very difficult. And I think, we were kind of joking a little bit before we started the podcast about we've grown up in the last year. And I think this process has a way of, it's a whole new learning at this age after this many years of experience in a career or in a particular company. We kind of had to relearn. We had to we literally had to pick ourselves back up, because there's what people I don't think realize about the process of transition, for whatever reason you're in it,
Right.
is it's a grief journey. And, you're kind of mourning the loss of who you were, what you were when you had that title, or you had that position, or you were that level of influence within an organization. And so it becomes this humbling sort of experience, but it also can be really gratifying, because you don't realize the growth and development you'll go through when you have to work through, this period of time.
Yeah, we in the process, Kelly and I talk a lot about it, because we're kind of each other's support throughout because we left at the same time. We've been amazed at how generous people have been.
Absolutely.
I mean, because I was at Sleep Number for 22 years. I did not network. Who has time to network? You're running a business, and you get out and you're like, oh, this is going to be a slam dunk. I'm just going to go talk to the people. I
already have my book of business, and I'm already good here.
I'm going to go talk to the people I know, and that wasn't enough.
No.
You do have to be humbled, and you have to go and you have to ask. And you have to keep asking.
Right.
Who else can I talk to?
Who do you know? If
Who
you
do
don't
I
have
know?
anything?
Is it okay if I? It is humbling. There is no doubt about it. It's humbling. But I've met the most incredible people, and I've been amazed at how generous they are with their time and their network. I mean, that they're willing to give their names to someone they've never met before.
Absolutely.
has been eye-opening to me, and so I've really appreciated that journey, and it just gives me a greater appreciation for what I need to do, what my next when I'm landing, what I need to do for that person who calls me that I ignored before,
Right.
Because I didn't have time.
Well, I think the other side of it too, what people don't know, is you want to not only find the right job, but you want to find something that is a long-term position, right? You don't want something that, like, hey, I'm going to hop around until I find the next short-term or long-term job. I want to find the right field too.
Yeah, we actually have talked a lot about this. I think when I first got out there, I mean, I didn't want to just find a job.
Right.
That wasn't my intent. That wasn't where I wanted to go. And so it's a process of discovery, though, because the hardest question when you get out there that you have to answer, and it doesn't seem hard, but it is incredibly difficult, is, well, what do you want to do? And you got to be able to articulate that very clearly and very confidently in order to help move this process along. Because networking, I think you can learn how to network really well.
Absolutely.
And I think there's, I think we both maybe went about it a little bit different. I mean, at first, you cast this wide net, and you're meeting all these people, different industries, different companies, different walks of life, diversity of talent. I mean, it's all over. And through that, you sort of refine what you want and what you don't want, and what that, we call it the elevator speech, but for lack of a better way to say it.
But for myself, right? Yeah.
You figure that out, and you refine it as you go until you're very confident in what you're saying. And then getting out there feels a little different than you did at first. We both had to get out of our comfort zone.
Right.
But, you also can do things like we buddied up. Like, we would go to a couple events together. That way you take the pressure off of feeling like I'm in this room with all these people and I don't know where to start.
Right.
At least you had somebody to sort of,
Bounce off.
Yeah, like a wing woman, like you got somebody there to help you out. But also just meeting with a lot of people one-on-one. I think for me, that was where I found a lot of joy.
Yeah.
And I think we both found out quickly that we actually had a lot to offer. And so the pay it forward, we had a lot of that, and we were able to do that. So I think networking, I wouldn't say that I didn't have a network when I left Sleep Number, but I was a little flat-footed. I didn't have the external network. I had a great internal network.
Right.
Yeah.
And while that's important, because here we are supporting each other through this transition, the external network just opens things up too.
Right.
So.
And how important was it? I mean, obviously you have to relearn yourself and figure out who you are internally, but also externally, and what you want to do, who you are. So it's like, okay, I've got to take a step back and figure all that out before I can figure out what I want to do. So it's a whole journey. Did you guys do or have any coaches or anything like that helped you figure things out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I took a different path leaving Sleep Number. And so The coaches I had were relationships I had in the past.
Yep.
I did not have any resources to look for work, so I relied on Kelly a lot because she was going down. You had some really good resources, which was great, and just others. So it really is just relying on those people who have been your mentors.
Yes.
The beauty of also being with an organization, a lot of people have come and gone. So reconnecting with those folks and kind of reminiscing, but also then leveraging where they've been in their path and how they got to where they're at has really been something that's how I've approached it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's lots of tools out there. And I think that was a surprise.
And everybody's unique too.
Yeah, and what works for you, you have to decide that.
Right.
But I tried a lot of different things to figure out what worked for me. So I think, if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't even know where to start, trust me, there's like plenty of places to start. You just got to get in and then feel it out a little bit. I was lucky because I had a wonderful professional coach even before I left Sleep Number, and she and I have stayed connected.
Great.
And I think she's been very helpful. I had a coach also through another third party as part of my agreement, leaving Sleep Number, which again was wonderful. And I think you take nuggets.
Yep, absolutely.
Right? I think everybody can offer lots of help, but I think you take the nuggets from the places that you find the most helpful, and you tend to gravitate there.
Yep.
But I literally tried everything. I went to classes. We talked to people that had expertise in certain places, like interviewing and resume development. And you talk to people that can help you through the process in lots of different ways. And I think you just have to you get a feel for who your people are,
right?
Where it resonates, and then you kind of join and you become part of a community that supports a lot of that.
Yep.
But there's lots of resources out there. You just have to find the ones that work for you.
And I know some people, they've done assessments, here's a DISC assessment that's going to tell me if I'm a leader, if I'm a follower, if I'm strong here, where your strengths and weaknesses are, if I'm an innovator, different things like that. And then they also can tell you what to do with that. There are also different people that will just take your hand and say, here, let's go into my network.
Yeah.
So everybody has their own way to do it. Have you guys met a lot of people that have also helped you and taken you into their network?
Yeah, I have. I mean, you get these they call them super networkers, and you always, because I was introduced to a couple of them and I didn't even know who they were, right? So I got on, and you just never know on that call who you're going to get sometimes. Yeah. And they have been 5-6 different connections that have been really good connections. I mean, people who can really help in the journey.
Absolutely.
So yes, I mean, that's why it's important to continue to network.
Yes.
I know people, they say, I hate networking.
Right.
You can't hate it. You have to embrace it, and you have to get excited about who you might meet.
Right.
Because you know what? I tell you, I've probably talked to 200 people, I'm telling you. And there's going to be a handful of those people that will always be a connection for me now.
Yep.
Because
They're
they
your
were
people.
They were so helpful, and are so connected within the community.
Do you think with your marketing background, having that and using some of those tools to help you also find what's out there is a good way to go? Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the selling process, right? There are these super connectors. They're the outside of the biggest ring.
Yep.
And they start connecting you to the next layer and then the next layer. And some of those are the connections where things start to really click.
Yep.
And it's finding organizations that you're excited about. It's learning about places you didn't know existed. And I think you have to start kind of big and broad and work your way in. And it's a little like the selling process, right? It's a little bit of the law of numbers.
Yep.
The more you connect, the more opportunity that you find. Yep. I also personally, and this is I think the value, we talk a lot about having your tribe, your people that are just your support system no matter what. Yep. I had a fellow employee of ours, actually Eric Haugen. You interviewed him.
I know him.
He literally called me a couple of days later and he grabbed me by the hand. He's like, come on, let's go.
Yep.
We're
going out.
I'll show you, we'll do this together. And I think, having those people, in your tribe, in your network, in your support system that are even closer than, say, the broader network that you're building, those are critical people, and you need those people to just kind of be like, let me show you what I learned. Let me show you the ropes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there are people out there like that, and then there are people that are selective and won't let you in, for sure. There are people that are very like private, that'll say they're connectors, but then they're like, nope, these are my people. So you have to be very selective when you find those people, but most people want to help, and that's their driving force. They want to help you.
Yes.
When you win, they all win, or when everybody wins.
Yeah.
I don't remember the quote now, but yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think it depends, like, what kind of connection do you want to make? Like,
Right.
when you sit down one-on-one with somebody, you know, for me, it's like, no, I want to know more about you personally,
Yes.
professionally, and then if we can each help each other out, that's great.
Yes.
And then I want to build, so I'm building a relationship with
intentional.
them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people you just connect with better than others
Right.
too.
Yep.
Like, you just know, I think, when you first start talking, like,
For sure.
oh yeah, I don't know that we're
We're not jiving.
not
on the same
jiving,
page.
and
Right.
that's okay, because
Yep.
the more people you meet, the more that's going to happen. But then equally, you meet the other people, and you're like, oh
Yep.
my gosh, I can't believe we've never met before.
Right.
So
But you could come across someone later down the road that'll be like, hey, this person that I met will be a great fit for your company, or this person could be someone that you might need down the road, so let me put you in touch with them.
And
Just
that's-
because you're not a
yeah.
great fit, that's where it'll
And
be.
I ask every time I network, I ask, who else should I be networking with?
Right.
And sometimes, you know, you would think that they know that there's a networking call, that would be an automatic thing. But
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it's like, oh, let me think down my list. And then they start you can tell that
Yeah.
they're, I remember. And I usually get one or two people coming out of that question.
Yep.
And then and we read this book and it's been resonated with me. But the other piece is like, what can I do? How can I help you?
Yes.
Like, is there any round? I always, are you doing any round tables that you think I could be participating on? Is there, if you are recruiting, let
Yes.
me know, because there's a lot of great people that I've networked with and blah.
Yep.
So that has changed the dialogue. And the other piece I would say is like my mind shift over the summer has really changed a lot, because when I'm networking with a lot of people who are also out networking and looking for work. When they start telling me what they're looking for or what they're wanting to do, now my mind is like, oh, let me connect you now.
Yes.
I wasn't there yet until probably early this summer. Like, now I know who I can connect you with.
Yep.
Let me think about that. Have you tried?
Yep.
And that's been wonderful, because
Yep.
now you feel like you're giving back.
Yep. It's
Which has been-
purposeful, like, you
Yeah.
helped me, now let me help you.
Right.
Yep.
So that's worked out well.
How do you think you've changed in the last year?
You know, for me, I appreciate what I do for a living.
Right.
Very much so. I love what I do. I realize that I miss working with people. Because I always say this to people, like, looking for a job is a lonely thing.
It is.
Because you sit in your office and you are getting on calls and things like that. You're going for coffees, but you're not going into work and saying, hey, what did you do this weekend?
with the same people.
Tell me about what
Yeah.
your kids are doing.
Yeah.
You know, there's that piece of it that I know. So it really helps me focus on that. I do want to be in an organization again, because I miss that personalized contact with the people you work with, the people you spend so many hours a week with.
Got it.
yeah.
What about you?
I think for me, you know, I think I always thought I was resilient. I think this process has sort of helped remind me that I am. I also think, you know, patience is a skill. And it's really difficult to have patience throughout this process. So I would say I've been working on that as well. And then for me, there's something about this balance, this part of, I don't even like the word balance, it's more harmony. There's been some harmony with home and life and work, you know, because this is, being in transition is work.
Yep.
It's full-time work.
But
It's almost more work than work is, really.
Yeah. It really is.
I think where I was previously had kind of overtaken my life a little bit. And so my kids are teenagers.
Right.
I don't have many years left before they're going to head off to college. And so for me, one of my goals throughout the transition was to say yes to everything
Yep.
as a mom,
Yep.
you know, and I've enjoyed that.
And now they're listening and they're going to be like, okay,
Yeah,
Mom, here we go.
You did say yes to this. But to say yes more often, because, you know, kids are super honest and logical at the teenage years. And
Right.
they reminded me after, after I had gotten laid off, they were like, well, you said no to everything. You had a call, you had to travel,
Right.
and so there was this, oh gosh, I didn't realize. So for me, this has taught me to make sure that I'm bringing a lot more harmony into that, especially in this season of life where I'm at with my kids, because it is going to change.
Right.
And they're different people as teenagers than they were when they were younger. Okay. And then I would also just say, like, my confidence level is way different, over this last year. I think the process of being laid off can kind of tarnish your confidence level a little bit.
Sure.
Imposter syndrome sinks in, and it's very real. I mean,
Yep.
we've had many calls where I'm like, okay, today, for whatever reason, it's just really strong. So I think for me, my confidence has been built back up to like, oh, I can do this. Like my skills, my experience, my hard work, my effort that I put in over the past 20 some years is good. Like
I know what I'm doing. I'm valid. Yeah.
I'm valid. You kind of find value again in yourself that you may have lost just going through a really hard time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be, I would say, my biggest ones.
Which is amazing because I know where I'm at. I mean, the work-life balance is like, okay, work is great, family's not. It kind of shifts and goes round and round, and you try to balance it all, but there's not a fine-tuned balance. It's always, up and down, and it is what it is, and it kind of happens that way. But to find and tune it the best you can, and especially where you're at, making it a little more valuable when you can is always a great tune to have. Who have been some of your mentors along the way?
Many women, women that I've worked for, I'm still in contact with many of them, past CMOs and things like that. There was a particular CMO, it was a male CMO that I just really aspire to because he never took anything too seriously.
Yep.
And I wish I would have kept that going. Like he went to lunch every day.
Yep.
And that is something this culture doesn't do anymore.
No.
Like he's like, come on, we're going to lunch.
We're working through it. Like, I'll go in a minute.
Yeah, we're going to go to lunch. And so I miss that. So those are the type of, I wish some of that personality and some of
culture,
that culture would come back because it's just not in the DNA right now of the, where we work. Everybody works through their lunch. Yeah. They sit at their desk, and versus let's just go get
something
Chinese food,
which
is what we did, so.
Yeah, I think for me, I would first say my mom. She's actually celebrating 50 years at the Mayo Clinic this month.
Yes, congratulations.
Yeah, but I think she's really where my original work ethic comes from. And she's still my sounding board right now. So I would say for sure her. I also had two sort of male mentors as my career progressed. And I would say the theme with the two of them was they saw things in me that I didn't see in myself. And they came in at pivotal points where I made pivots or transitions in my career. Yep. And so I don't know that I would even be operating on the sales side of an organization had I not had one of those mentors go, hey, I think this would be a really good move for you.
Nice.
And then my professional coach, I'm still in touch with her. And I think people come into your life at just the right time.
For a reason, too.
Right? And I think she came into my life when I felt very stuck in my career. And I was kind of working to elevate my leadership level from where I was to a vice president level.
Yep.
And there were just things and ways she talked to me that helped me unlock some things. We talked a lot about self-care and making sure that your battery is full so that you can
reset, take a moment, recharge. Yep.
But we also talked a lot about how to handle difficult situations and difficult people and managing your feelings. And there's, we could do a whole podcast on what she taught me, but I think
we can have it a series. We'll do it again. Yes.
Yeah. I do a little bit on my LinkedIn. I talk about some of the lessons I learned with her. I just think she has been pretty instrumental in my career and where I've gotten to this point. And so I don't think I'd be where I am if she hadn't come in at that time. Yeah.
Nice. Tell me about some of your favorite moments that you've had going through the years that have been life-changing for you, that have been just awe-inspiring.
Oh gosh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
there's been many. And I like for me, there when we have a big impactful for work, it was big impactful projects that were meaty, and like I think when you're out interviewing, you have to dig for those stories. And there were a couple really big ones throughout my career that taught me a ton, gave me the work process that I need to use. And both Kelly and I were at the vice president level, and so you have to be thinking about the how you do it, just not just in what you're doing, but how you come across and all that. So for me, it's these big, meaty, performance driving initiatives from a work career standpoint. But Kelly's right. Like if you think about your family and those pivots in your life, it's a blur when your kids are in, school and things like that. And I would say now pausing, I don't regret anything, but I think about this generation of folks now that have a little more freedom to be there.
It's more family focused now.
And my wish is that we, maybe we're not very smart at the time. I don't know, that I would have given myself that, that breathing room to, I didn't miss any of my kids' things, but I said no a lot. I got that call and things like that. And that's for my next role, that's one of the things I want to say is I just don't want to say no to my family. That's going to be my number one thing. I want to be able to say yes. So that that is out there.
For me professionally, I think some of my best moments are wrapped up in milestones of either my leaders that I worked with or team members, and them hitting like development or professional milestones, or hitting or getting promoted. If that was some of my best moments, the things that I remember from our legacy, even at Sleep Number, are when people hit those milestones and celebrating with them. And so those are probably some of my favorite memories. And then I think, this is going to sound a little weird, but COVID was an interesting time for us, I think, not only as professionals in a leadership role, but also I think at home, because for me, as we all came home and our kids were at home, it was the first time I really invited my kids into everything that was going on at work. And so I was like, I was very comfortable with my team bringing kids on the Zoom calls and the pets and the spouses, and we learned so much about each other, I think, just by being surrounded by it.
You were one family then. Your family was family.
Well, and it was the first time I think my kids could actually articulate what I do. You know what I mean?
Like, what does mom do? I don't know. She goes to the office,
Well, and my daughter was pretty young at that age, but like she was curious. And I loved that because I wanted her to see what,
because that could be her driving force to do it, like obviously like your dad was for you.
But also like understand that when I had to say no, what I was saying no, why I was saying no, and I think my kids kind of understood a little bit better about what I did all the time with all the time, and I think that was that. COVID's not over, but that 2 to 3 years we had, which we were really intense, those were kind of pivotal moments. I mean, we hit a career high and we hit a career low, right? Remember? I mean, and we also, for those of us that had kids at home, I mean, it was a high and a low too, right? Where
and it still is.
It still is. But I think those, when I think back to like, what are the ones that are very memorable? Those are probably the most memorable for me.
So what do you think, obviously moving forward, is going to be life-changing in the future?
Well, I mean, everybody's going to say AI,
right?
Because it is.
Right.
It is. But it's funny because that's the other thing I feel being outside of an organization. It's like, oh, you get yourself frightened that I'm falling way behind. It's all moving, especially within marketing.
Right.
It's been out there a long time, but it's every 6 weeks is something new being introduced.
Right.
So, but then when I talk to folks, I'm like, well, no, I'm okay. There's a lot of learning there, and setting the parameters and the governance of how you use AI. So for me, and within my career, it's gonna be continue to be game changing.
Right.
And what that looks and feels like. I use it every day
Right.
in my job search.
Yep.
Every day.
Yep.
I literally, preparing for an interview, I ask the question,
Correct.
help me with this company. I use it, and it helps big time pull all the data that you would spend hours and hours and hours pulling. So it's beautiful, but it's scary.
Right.
For
Yes.
everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, and I would agree. It is, I would just say it's been a very hot topic for the last year. And I would also just say, though, as a leader, I think managing through uncertainty is
Right.
a work in progress. And I think we've got that ahead of us, too. I think we're living it right now. I think we have been for quite some time. But I think, life has changed a
Yes.
lot. And I think helping your employees and your leaders balance all of that out I think that's sort of an emerging, that uncertainty, managing through uncertainty
Yep.
is still going to be sort of something that's going to be a hot topic. I think for those people in transition, I think one of the hardest things right now is that the market is just flooded with amazing people out there that are in transition.
Yes.
And so, you feel a little like a very small fish in a very big pond.
Right.
But I think those that do the work to really, on their personal brand, and
Yep.
they can really articulate that, will stand out. But I think it's about, gosh, you guys, you got to be true to yourself. Like there are
Unique.
there's just things along the way that are very cookie cutter, and you can fall into those traps. But if they don't feel like you, don't do that.
Right.
Because I do believe there are right places for right people. And so I just think that transition world is a little crazy right now. We even talk about the candidate experience right now is very difficult.
It is. Yeah.
There is some stuff that has shocked and surprised Lisa and I both. And I hope that we see the flip side of that, or that's coming to an end. But right now, it is a struggle, and it is not good.
No.
And so I'm hoping, I don't want to put words in Lisa's mouth, I'm hoping for a resurgence back of the importance of a candidate and navigating and nurturing talent.
Yep.
I hope that surge comes back.
Yeah, because you see like even people in roles and positions, having kids looking for jobs as well. In positions, and them applying multiple different places, and like the 16-year-olds just throwing applications out there just to try to get
Yeah.
anything and everything that's out there. Or on the other side, having employees come in and throwing applications out there. Then you see all the fake text messages coming in saying, hey, we have all these open roles,
Right.
and
Yeah.
multiple text messages.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you know what's real, what's not anymore with all the technology and the AI and everything like that too?
Yeah.
So it's hard to say
Yeah.
what's open, what's not open, who's hiring, who's not.
Even a 16-year-old needs to network.
Yeah.
They need to go talk to their neighbor Fred.
Yep.
I'm just making
Yeah.
up a name, but,
Yeah.
and just say, hey, I'm out looking, because that's the way to kind of vet out what's real and what's
Yep.
not. Is like, have you heard, do you know somebody
Right.
at this place, or what,
Yeah.
or do you know anybody that worked at the ice cream parlor down
Yeah.
the shop, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
Networking is critical
Right.
throughout all ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite food? The fun question, right?
I love bread.
Yes.
I just love any kind of bread. I'm just a big, I love that, but I'm Italian.
Yep.
So I love bread and pasta. Give it to me.
So have you been to Italy and the real?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
The real Italian food. Yes.
Oh, I just got back from Ireland, and I was saying, like, just the butter. Like, slather that
What
on
part of
some
Ireland
bread.
were you in?
Dublin.
Okay. I
So-
was just in Southern Ireland, like Kinsale and Kerry and
Oh, yeah,
all
yeah.
down there. Yes.
Yeah,
We
it's-
flew into Cork. So yes.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
But that's my favorite.
Yeah. What about you?
Anything Mexican.
Okay.
And it's funny because I've been on this like health and wellness journey, And so my eating has been very different, but gosh darn it, anything Mexican.
Yep.
Chips and salsa, that will
Give
be.
you a basket of
Oh,
chips.
man.
Oh, yes.
And a good margarita.
We're good. We're set. Yes.
Yeah.
What's your why? I know everybody always says their why has to go like 2 or 3 layers deeper than, hey, it's just my family. You know, you've got to dig deeper. Have you discovered that in your journey?
Yeah, I wrote a mission statement for myself a while back, and my why was like, I want to be a mentor. But at this part of my career, I want to be a mentor, and I want to appreciate the moment. Because you get too far ahead of, oh gosh, what's going to happen then? Every moment, I want to be able to be in the moment and help mentor the next generation of individuals coming through in this career. My son is actually in digital marketing, and so I talk to him a lot about what to go, who to go talk to, go have coffee, and those kids in their 20s, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so I mentor him because he's my son, and he loves it, I'm
The
sure.
lacking communication of bridging those gaps.
Yeah,
too.
but then just even the employees that you have, how can you spend some time just the mentoring part of it, and just don't get too far ahead of yourself. Enjoy the moment that you're in, because there's going to be lots of different moments coming at you.
Yep.
So that's where
Wonderful.
I'm
Yeah. I know we said not to talk about kids, but they're actually my why.
Absolutely. Mine are too.
But it goes deeper. Like, I think, and I've said this to even Lisa, I say this to my kids all the time, like, I just want to raise good humans. And I want to set a very good example for them.
Yep.
And so, if I can wake up every day and that's purpose for me, then I feel good. I think professionally, for me, I don't, it's not just about leadership, it's about legacy. Like, I want to know that I left a good legacy behind that was deeply rooted in relationships and the fact that people matter. And I believe that, understanding people's strengths and aligning them not only with the role, but responsibility is really important. So that's my why professionally, is I want to leave a good legacy behind, and I want people to have felt better having worked alongside me and have gotten to achieve, their goals.
Yep.
Like, that brings me a lot of joy.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you guys have dealt with people, how have you bridged the gap from the newer generation to the older generation and helped them collaborate together? It's a tough one, right?
Yeah, it is. It's funny because I know millennials that are like me. Not me, my generation.
Right.
And then I know millennials that are completely...
Correct.
I don't mean to just focus on millennials, but like I feel like we're all different, but yet we're all on the same type of journey. We just happen to be at different times in our journey, obviously within, what's happening in the world. But we're all on the same journey, and
we all want the same end game, right?
Yeah, we all want to make a good living for our families. We all want a career that we enjoy. We all want to, contribute in a way. So as humans, we all have the same, no matter what generation you're in.
Right.
It's just the experience time is different. And I've not found like this big like gap I haven't found it between me and other generations. I just don't. It's just a different, it's just sometimes it's just a different approach.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if it boils down to like the labels of millennials and all that.
Right.
For me, I think it boils down to like everybody's an individual person.
Right.
And so no matter what your age, and everybody works and lives differently.
Yep.
And I think part of it is discovering what that is for them. That is their unlock, their unleash, their, what gets them out of bed and gets them
resonates with
motivated.
them too.
Yeah. So for me, I don't really like think about it as generational. I just think about it like, okay, what does that human need to be their best self?
That's fair.
What tools are needed? Yeah.
Yeah, because as a leader, I mean, I've had people that work better from 5 to 8 at night, and that is their,
That's
and
their
you
goal.
want to support that and bring out the best in them. And you've got people that are like very, very different, right? So I think it's about the individual human, and I find it fascinating to learn from like even my kids and the
100%.
right? Like,
Yep.
they're teaching me
Smarter, not harder.
Yeah,
like they're go, go, go. Yeah.
I'm like fascinated by some of the things that they can kind of teach me. So I try to appreciate what they are bringing, without getting into the whole like, well, when I was your age, but it's like, wow, things have emerged, and I'd like to stay on top of things too.
Always think of the new next thing and how can you grow and change from it too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah. What do you think as far as the jobs that are out there? How is the job market going to change? And what do you hope that will be out there?
Well, I hope it changes.
Right? Obviously, yeah.
It has been interesting. I've talked to lots of people out there. Like I was just on a networking call this morning, and it was all marketing people.
Yeah.
And they are like, you can't be picky right now. And I'm like, oh, I hate to hear that.
But you have to be, because you want to find long term. You have to find something where it fits for you.
Right? Yes,
right.
and that's
and so
that was scary to me to hear that come out of professional kind of mid-level marketing people. But it's going to ride out. Yep. It's going to be. Yep. It's kind of like
it's a storm.
It's kind of like the real estate market, where it's like such a buyer or seller. It's definitely a seller or a buyer's market when it comes to the job market right now. No one's talking about that. You just talk about the job numbers and things like that. But it's rough. I mean, there's a lot, to Kelly's point, really smart, really great people out looking for work right now.
Yep.
And just not enough jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
Because everybody's waiting to kind of see how things play out. And so hopefully that stabilizes sometime. Maybe it's not 25, but maybe in 26. And that will be a better job market for everybody.
Well, I think it's hard too, like with the ebbs and flows and all the hub locations since COVID hit too, people are working remotely.
Yeah.
So then they want those marketing jobs. They want to work remotely. And it's a little more difficult probably in the marketing field too, from what I've seen.
Yeah. Well, but many companies are back to the office.
Or partially, or
and
they're starting to mandate get back full-time.
So it's not like you can sit in Minnesota
and
take a job in Connecticut anymore.
Right.
There's just not as many out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of changed in the last year or two as well.
Yep. I think that's been an interesting transition, like
the mandate back to work.
Yes.
It's happened over the last year, and I think people are having a very polarizing.
Some will do it, some won't do it, and they won't work.
And so I think, but that also can be very limiting in your job search. I'm in a season of life where I'm not relocatable right now because my kids are a couple of years from graduation and they're thriving, and I want them to be able to finish out in a great high school. But that also then changes my opportunity out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think relocation is, because of the in-office mandates, is a really interesting trend right now. I think depending on the kind of role, like in sales, there's a lot of travel.
Yes.
So depending on your season of life and how much you're able or willing to travel. I think Lisa and I want to keep it real. Like it's hard. It's hard out there right now. And I think it is we talked about uniqueness and standing out. I also think like the word that I would use in my last 6 months of search was intention. You have to be very intentional with how you're spending your time and what ROI you're getting for the time that you're spending. Because a lot of people, I think, I think maybe they're doing a lot, but they're not as productive. They're busy, not productive. And it's
busy work, not smart work. Like they're spending in the wrong places the wrong way.
But I had that pivot too. Like you're not alone. Like I spent 6 months casting a really wide net until I was like, I got to change my strategy. Like I took a time out. I had to change my strategy and think. But intention became the word because I knew what I wanted. I needed to find the company that aligned with the culture that I wanted and what I wanted to be a part of, and also something that I could get up and feel joy at doing again every day. So that would be my, like, for people out there looking, that would be my, like, find what you really want to do and then go at it with intention. But it's tough. I mean, it's really tough.
I mean, the other side is if you find a company that you think you're good at and then you see their employee turnover rate's not good. Like, that's the other side of it. People don't think about that. Like, hey, this is something I really want to do and this looks like a great company, but you're turning over employees.
Well, but that's where networking comes in. Because, like, I've shared this with Lisa too, but when you find that company, you want to network with anybody and everybody. If it's really something you're seriously considering, because you need all perspectives. And then when you find it, you need to work at
Yes.
The company that I'll be joining here shortly, there wasn't a job open.
Wait. What'd you just say? Time out.
I
They weren't
landed.
listening. Yep.
I just landed recently. There's some communication going on internally, so I can't really say too much, but I'm very excited.
So she did land something.
I did land. It took
We'll
me
have
a
you
year.
back on once you land, and then we'll have you talk about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Took about a year, but I think I think too, like, don't hesitate if it feels right for you, if it feels like the right culture, the right people, continue to network in, because one, you never know when something's going to come up. You want to be top of mind. But I also networked in knowing there wasn't a job at the end of the end of this. By the way, there is no end, but towards the end of this, and something kind of came up in process.
You never know what'll happen.
Or, a lot of companies right now, because of there's been so much talent out there, they're really trying to diversify their talent pool.
Yep.
And so there is opportunities, I think, for people with experiences and expertise in certain areas. Companies are looking to upskill.
Absolutely.
So don't walk away from a company just because there's not a job open.
Yep.
If it's a company you feel very compelled to fits
and
you.
companies grow and change, and they shift, and they could acquire something, or they could have a different location, or they could say, hey, it's not working out with somebody else and they want to try a different lane, or whatever it may be. You just don't know what you don't know.
And you don't know what conversation along the way. I mean, Lisa and I have talked about having hundreds of you don't know what conversation is going to lead to where.
Right.
So I think the other thing is every conversation matters.
It does matter.
It does.
And it matters because you just literally don't know when one of those is going to pay off. And that's kind of how it happened for me too, is it just sort of ended up paying off. But I didn't see it come. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see it coming right away.
So let's divert a little bit and talk about your marketing background a little bit more, just so our viewers know your marketing. We'll start with you, Lisa. How in-depth has it been? And tell about some of your marketing background strengths that you've had, so our viewers know how in-depth it's been and some of the strengths that you've had in the marketing world.
Yeah, like you've said, though, marketing has changed since I started in my career. I was in direct response advertising. So I was doing catalogs.
Yep.
We were doing all paper. We were mailing things out. So
I was
that's
in the
kind
newspaper business, so I get it.
Yeah.
Trust me.
You could just that ages me big time. But that's what I started out in, is really kind of that direct. You send things out, you expect a response back.
Yeah.
So hence the direct response. And it's then when you reinvent yourself, and that's what
Just keep turning the wheel. Yeah.
You have to, as a individual, you have to kind of pause in your career and kind of reinvent yourself and think and look for those I call them white spaces of things that you want to go try to do that maybe no one's doing within an organization.
Right.
So I've done that throughout my career. And then it literally went from direct response, and then it translated into retail advertising, which is a whole nother. But that was another area, again, similar. You're trying to drive a response, and the response this time is to get someone to come into a store.
Yep.
And so that is a different way of looking at it, a different way of marketing. And then you've gone from retail and how you did that to, you've gone to digital marketing.
Yep.
It's like, oh my gosh, what's this digital marketing thing? And now almost all your spending is, from a media perspective, in that type of spending. And then now AI is going to be the next thing.
Yes.
But you have to be willing to re-educate and reinvent yourself throughout your career, because it does not, especially it does not stay steady.
Right.
And you have to be willing to learn. And you have to be willing to learn from people who are half your age. You just do.
Absolutely.
Because they're much more into the weeds on how to, and you have to learn through that.
Yes.
So that's for me. That's why I love marketing and media so much, because it doesn't stay steady.
No.
It's constant. You're constantly
You're
learning, and it's scary because all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I got to learn how to do digital. What's digital? I don't know what that is. And you learn it. And same. I'm sure everybody's like, oh my gosh, I got to learn AI. I'm way behind. But there are tools for it. It's so exciting.
Yeah, my experience is a little bit different in marketing. So I spent most of my time on the promotion side. So think discounts, financing, customer loyalty, repeat referral side of it. Also communication. So, we put all this great stuff together in marketing, and we're bringing it all together, tying it off with a bow. But you forget that you've also got to communicate, and
Yes.
you've got to bring value with your salespeople so they know how to feed off of what we're trying
How
to
to promote
do.
it, yep.
So my experience was on that side of it. I got to see all of it, which was awesome, and bring it together. But then, the communication side was a pretty important side
Which
of
is a
my
big
experience.
step, because the communication on both sides, from talking to the team and the sales staff and everything like that, but also learning the communication of marketing in itself
Yeah.
has grown and changed. And how do you keep learning all the communication and all the technology out there, and how do you intertwine them both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the consumer obviously is super important in all the
Yes.
equation in marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I woke up every day knowing that I have to, there's, 1,500, 2,000 salespeople out there
Yeah.
that need to put food on their
Understand
table.
it, and then you need to feed their mouths.
Yeah, and so
it's
that's
the team
why
below me.
that was
That's
why it
the
was so
stress.
important, that we worked so closely with Kelly and her team too, because they are what we're working for.
Yeah.
Is to get them what the tools they need in order to go to the consumer facing and make it all happen. So that's a different way of looking at it
Yep.
within marketing, but it's critical, especially if you're in a retail environment.
Yes. Well, I think people don't understand that. I mean, as a business owner, as someone higher up in the food chain, vice presidents, presidents, you have the staff that have to go home and feed their families.
Yes.
And that's the ultimate goal. If you don't make money and you're not doing what you're doing, people aren't getting paid.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're not getting
Yeah.
their commissions, they're not getting money, and their families aren't getting what they need and want. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's driving force behind the why too. It's not just your family, but it's everybody else below you.
Exactly.
And if you don't know how to make them thrive and have them hit their goals, and seeing someone that finally reached their goal or surpassed it and moved up the ladder, that's
Yeah.
fun. That's exciting to see them
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're with them, with the consumer-facing people,
Yeah.
like in an environment like when we get people together, you just watch in awe
Yeah.
of what they do every day and what they do for the organization, and it fills your heart.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
does.
One of my favorite things from being at Sleep Number that was integrated sort of in our culture was these listening sessions, where every week I would host a listening session to say, okay, how is it working? How is the marketing coming across? How are the promotions? Like, what is the customer saying? What ideas do you have? What can we do different? That was sort of built into our culture, and that used to be my favorite. One of my favorite calls every week was talking to the front lines when I couldn't be with them,
Right.
talking to them and being like, okay, did we get it right? Did we not get it right? And then bringing that back to the group to be like, okay, here's what's resonating, here's what's not, here's
Yep.
what we might need to think about tweaking. Those were some of my
Yeah,
favorite.
they're the great. That's great.
Yeah.
Have the check-in, like, what's good, what's not.
Yeah.
And I want to hear it straight out of your mouth, like what works, what
Yeah.
doesn't. And then let's change it and try it next time. And if it works today, it might not work tomorrow. So
Yeah.
let's figure it out.
Yeah.
What's been one of the biggest obstacles that you guys have faced, other than the job? Obviously trying to find that and hit or miss, but that has come up in work and in life that you have overcome.
I think it's the speed. For me, it just, and that's the career that I chose. When you're in retail, you're pivoting for the weekend.
Yeah.
You're pivoting, and with the technology and everything coming, it is the speed and trying to keep not only yourself to move your teams forward, but keeping your teams moving forward too. You just don't want to leave anybody behind, and that's why, to Kelly's point, communication throughout all of that is,
Yep.
you got to have a good way of communicating to everybody to keep everybody moving forward
Yep.
with you.
Yeah.
How have you been staying on top of that without having, like, with the technology changing and everything like that, not having the job in the marketing world? Have you still been studying up and learning as much as you can in the meantime?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah,
you
you have to.
you take as many freebie
Nuggets out there,
classes
yeah.
as you can. You meet with people who are like, I met with a gentleman who was just he just kind of thinks about things in a totally different way, and talked to me about, like, here's how I look for this through this tool, and then I use this tool, and it's mind-boggling. So
it's like, can I record this and just take this home and rewatch it so I can take something else out of it?
And I think that's where, like, when you're working, it's so hard to spend the time to do that. You have to rely on your partners and things like that to keep you up to date. But that has been the beauty of having time, is that you can take classes, you can take courses, I've gone to multiple networking where it's been about a certain topic. You just got to make yourself get up and go do that so you don't feel behind.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I've spent my career in retail, different kinds of retail, but always in retail, I would say high ticket retail, where it's like feature, benefit, emotional reason people are purchasing. Like, that has been my career. And so for me, I think one of the biggest challenges was just keeping up with the consumer for a while, because even before COVID hit, I mean, she was changing rapidly. And then COVID, man, she changed even quicker. And by the time you think you got something figured out, she's
back down and changing again.
So, like, one of the biggest challenges I think we faced was just staying ahead of where she was at. Sorry, refer to the customers.
Yeah, no, you're good.
But staying ahead of where she was at, and then being able to like pivot quickly to where she was. And I just feel like now that is so ingrained in me, regardless of what part of retail you're in. What it is. I read the retail news every morning. I try to stay up on, there were trends. Trends, and then there were always consumer sentiment surveys and things like that, or reports that we used to rely on, staying on top of that to really understand. And then I think those are probably, like, that was difficult for a long time. It's still difficult because I think in the environment we're in, she's changing as rapidly. She's, holding on, waiting to see what's going to happen. And so when you're in a high ticket, more luxurious, non-sexy kind of retail.
Like, wait, I'm still looking at this and following it and doing it. Yeah.
It's a nice to have, not a necessity sometimes. Those are all kind of factors you need to be considering as you're marketing, as you're selling. So that would be, like, when I think about some of our challenges, I feel like you said pace, and I would agree. And I think it's the pace of the consumer changing that was difficult.
I know you've talked about your son that's doing the digital marketing, and your kids have found out what you've done. Have your kids always, do you see them starting to follow and kind of watch what you do and be like, hey, Mom, this is changing, or this is following in the trends, and notice a little bit more now?
I think being at Sleep Number, I've raised sleep ambassadors. I know that sounds crazy, but, like, they are more in tune with their sleep than ever. And I think they would, if they were here today, they'd be like, oh my gosh, Mom always talks about, I always say the most important thing the night before a test is you got to get good sleep. And so I think they would kind of joke with you about that. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
They just pick up on the little things, I think, that you don't realize that they do. I mean, even my kids will be going by and they'll be like, hey, Mom, that window needs tint. Or, hey, Mom, the wall's peeling over there. You should go talk to them. And be like, oh, okay, I guess you're paying attention. Just the little things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So family life, you have a son. Tell everybody about your family a little bit. I have two. I have a daughter who is married with I have two grandsons. Fun. And my son is 25, working at a digital agency here locally. So,
amazing.
Yeah, she's a teacher. My daughter's a teacher. So I just talk about a challenging career.
Yeah.
That is a hard. I wish you do. We talked about this. Yeah. Teachers have it tough.
They do.
They just have it tough. They don't have flexibility. The pay is always a challenge. Yeah. The students are, the
parents.
It's just it's a hard career, but it's so critical for all of us as we send our kids off to school every day.
And it's rewarding seeing those students excel and exceed and do great things.
Yeah. And, So I'm proud of her for choosing that career, but it's she's challenged by it. She comes home and it's like, ugh,
exhausted.
She's exhausted. By Friday she's like, God, 5 days.
And people complain about them getting the summers off, and it's like, do you see what they go through? Like, for the half the year that they go through, and they
have to decompress.
Not getting paid the full summer, and all of
I
that.
still think there's to me there's some way we got to tell those teacher stories better.
Yeah.
Because we all send our kids to those teachers, and we just want to know, what their challenges are, so we as parents and citizens can support them, because without educated kids, it's impossible to have a good society. So anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have some children.
I have two teenagers. So my son's about to be 17, and he is a junior in high school. And then I have a freshman in high school, a daughter. And so, now both are in the high school. And I feel like I'm starting to do the countdown and everything. Or like,
Yeah,
this
it
might
goes in
be
a
the last
flash.
time.
But at the same time, like when those kids get older, we don't know if they're ever going to leave the
I
house.
know,
Like
I
it's like I don't know. We'll go there when that
I think
happens.
mine are definitely leaving the nest.
Yeah,
I don't know for how long, but I'm definitely leaving. But I mean, they're very active in sports, and so we travel quite a bit for both.
Yep.
So when people say, "Well, what are your hobbies?" I'm like, "Well, I follow my kids
Kids
around
around.
because
Just
that's about
traveling
what
with
I
them
have
in their
time
sports.
for."
Yeah, yep.
But I wouldn't have it any other way
Right.
either.
You
Like
just-
And you played sports when you grew up.
I did.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think some of the best like lessons in life have come from
Teams,
being
playing
on
sports.
a team.
Yep.
And even, like I would even say like understanding your position on the team,
The
right?
role.
Not everybody's a starter, not everybody, and I think just understanding the importance of that as you get older. And then those friendships.
Yep.
I mean, gosh, some of those people I'm still very close to today, just formed out of friendship from
Yes.
the camaraderie that comes with being part of a team.
For sure.
For so many years,
The
yeah.
boundaries, the roles, everything with
Yeah.
it. I mean, even the coaching, like even talking to Eric and some of the coaching
Yeah.
that you've had and just
Yeah.
different things that you've learned from all of that too. So yes.
Well, and being a coach, like
Yeah.
it's funny because
the coaching has changed a lot though.
Oh, yeah.
100% since
Yeah.
back in the day. Yes. I mean,
if you'd
was
have asked
parents,
me,
right?
if you'd
Yeah.
have asked me back then if I was going to coach, I would have been like, oh no. But I ended up coaching for 3 years, coaching basketball, and it was great. It was fun. It was fun to spend extra time with my daughter too. But yeah, those coaches too are very pivotal. I think when I think back on like where were a lot of your values and your lessons
Instilled,
formed, like
yeah.
some of mine were formed as early as with a basketball
basketball
coach
stuff,
yeah.
yep, that's very important. Do you guys have any trips planned or any travel coming up?
I don't.
think
I
so.
mean, we just got back, so it's
Yeah.
holidays.
I know, right? It's
the best time of
crazy.
year.
Yep.
Come on, it's
School's
good.
back in session already.
Kids
right?
are trying to talk me into taking them to the Bahamas
Oh,
for spring
fun.
break.
There
So-
you
For
go.
spring break.
For spring
Ooh,
break.
big.
It's been on their wish list for years, so we'll
Yes.
see. Yeah.
Well, so you're going to be starting a new job, and
Yeah.
we're going to find you a great
Yes.
home job, all the listeners, and we're going to take you out to events, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
We've already talked about that too. And if anybody is listening, how and where can they get a hold of you on LinkedIn and find you and help get a hold of you?
Yeah, so my my email, or maybe LinkedIn's probably easier, but it's just under Lisa A. Bailey on LinkedIn. So yeah, come find
And
me.
they can get a hold of me, and I'll put them in touch with you.
Yeah,
That's easy
yeah.
too. Yes.
It's it just connect. I'm
Yes.
happy through all of my networking too. If you need help
Yep.
of any kind, please, I'm happy to help network too.
Perfect. And we'll have you on again when you start your
Yeah.
new job, and we'll have that session on how that's going
Yeah,
and
that'd be awesome.
connect with everybody again there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both for being on. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. That was
Yeah.
really
you.
fun.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
All right, take care.